Screw Scientology speedruns, we're going back to the OG method, mapping out the backrooms. So step through this no-clip door frame with me, and let's talk about the new movie. Now, I first want to preface with, I will avoid most spoilers. There will be very little spoilers throughout this video, so if you haven't seen the movie, you are a-okay to watch it. Around the end, there will be some spoilers. That is the only part that I will spoil anything, and it'll be very minimal, and I will warn you beforehand. So you are 100% okay to watch this video if you have not seen the movie, and if you don't want spoilers, you will be warned when that happens. So the movie, honestly, I'd give it a solid 8.5 or 9 out of 10. It was a really good 1 movie and really good 2 horror movie. It was just so good. And it really did stick to the original Backrooms vibes. You know, the original Kane Pixels found footage series, it really had so many vibes that felt like it. It really did have so many scenes that just showed the love and passion that went into this movie, just like the found footage. And I really did love, there's just a whole part of the movie where they're exploring the backrooms with one of them old analog cameras that really does feel like those original videos, and I just love it. I will say I could stand for a few more jump scares, and it was kind of odd. The movie's rated R, but after watching that, I'd honestly say the Five Nights at Freddy's movie probably had more gore and more jump scares. So I think the only reason it got an R rating was because of how many times they said the F word, which was kind of weird. If they just took all those F-bombs out, it could have definitely been PG-13. And I feel like the main demographic for the Backrooms movie, it is like teenagers. So it's really weird that they made it R by adding a bunch of unnecessary F-bombs. Just kind of weird. But yes, if you're a concerned parent or someone trying to convince their parent to let you watch, I'd 100% think this would be PG-13. I think that's totally fine. But like I said, it does make a really good horror movie, and it makes a really good Backrooms movie. So it's just amazing. It's just cinema. Definitely 8.5 or 9 out of 10. That'd be my rating. I will say I have 2 complaints about the movie, and one is not really a problem with this movie, it's just the genre in general. Horror movies, I have a hard time watching them, not because, oh, I'm scared or there's too much gore or blood or whatever, it's just because everyone's so stupid. I know it's a memed on trope everywhere, but it genuinely is frustrating to me. It's hard for me to watch a horror movie where someone's running from a monster, and then they turn around and just stare at the monster instead of running. Like, run away! Why are you looking at the monster? I don't know, it's just a really big problem I have with horror movies in general, but this one also was pretty much a culprit of that crime. Yeah, the Backrooms movie had so many moments where they would just stop running and just stare at the monster while it was attacking them, and no sane human would do that in a life or death situation, so it's really weird, and there's just so many decisions they make that are very horror movie-esque, where they just make a dumb decision for the sake of the horror movie. And I think, I don't really like that, you know? But that's not really something I blame the Backrooms for. I just blame the whole horror movie genre in general. My other complaint is async. I really liked seeing async in the movie, and I don't feel like it's too much of a spoiler, or a spoiler at all, really, that I'm saying asyncs in the movie. I feel like it's fairly obvious that async would be in a Backrooms movie, but yeah, no, async was barely there. They did show up at around the end, which I did like. I liked seeing async, but, you know, I get that the movie was meant to focus around these specific people, but I think async's really cool. I wanted more async. I wanted more of that. So, I wanted more. I want more. But those would really be my only 2 complaints, is 1, they're very stereotypical horror characters, and 2, give me more async. Now, should you go see it? 100% yes. I think if you're clicking on this video, it definitely means you like Backrooms. The only reason this thumbnail or title would be appealing to you is because you like Backrooms. And so, if you like Backrooms, or just analog horror in general, or even just horror movies, this is a great watch. 100% you should go see it. So, I would definitely recommend you go watch it. Now, the end of the movie is interesting. I'm not going to spoil it, but I feel like it does really leave a lot of room open for a sequel, and I'm pretty sure, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure from what I've seen, yes, there will be a sequel. Not 100% on that, but I'm like 90% sure there will be a sequel. 1, I'm pretty sure it was confirmed, and 2, it just really does feel like there's going to be a sequel. It's not a big cliffhanger, but it's more like the story's just open to continue, you know? I'm not unsatisfied, but also I want to see what happens next. Now, finally, we get to the part I'm going to talk about that has spoilers. The monster. The big bad of the movie. The scary monster. If you do not want anything spoiled, if you do not want the big reveal spoiled, then you can click off now. You can go watch one of my other videos. So, actually, please go do that. If you don't want it spoiled, go watch something else. But if you have already seen it, or you don't care about spoilers, let's get onto the monster. The monster is a giant version of the store's mascot, Captain Clark. The main character is Clark, and he owns a furniture store called Captain Clark's, and his mascot is this pirate. It's just him in a pirate costume, but the monster of the movie is a distorted monster version of the main character in his pirate costume. So the main bad guy is Captain Clark. And like I said, it's distorted, so it's like, it's not very smart. It's just a big hulking stupid monster that eats, kills, destroys, you know? And it's a very confusing monster. I think the confusing part for me is just Backrooms have always been about the Backrooms remembering things. It's always been about the Backrooms remember things wrong. You know, kind of like an AI or a brain, or I guess AI is a better representation of this, but when something remembers or tries to make a copy of something, but does it wrong, just like AI. If you keep feeding an image to AI over and over again, by the end of it, it'll look unrecognizable. And so that's kind of what the Backrooms are. It's just one big, I guess, brain or AI. And as it remembers things, each time it remembers, it gets more and more distorted. And I think that's what's happening here with the Captain Clark. The monster, you know, it's this distorted, memorized version, AI-generated version of Clark. And it just takes his raw emotions and, you know, his core character, and just that's what the monster is. That's why it's not very smart. That's why it's slow. That's why it's big and hulking. Because it's not really the complicated person that Clark is. It's just Clark's core idea, like the core person that Clark is. You know, it strips away most of his identity and just leaves that one core part of him. I hope all that stuff about the monster wasn't too complicated to follow. My explanation probably wasn't the best. But that's pretty much it. That's a wrap on the Backrooms movie. That's my review for you. I thought it was really good. Definitely go see it. And I think we should have more async. And, you know, they were shown at the end of this one. We're getting a sequel. So I feel like we're definitely going to have a lot more async in that one. But with all that out of the way, I think that's the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed. And please go check out the rest of my videos.